Good morning, Gold Gem Yogis. I'm Bree. I'm subbing for the lovely Kathleen this morning. We're going to do a rise up flow, which is very, very similar to her mindful flow. Just a little more functional movement, maybe a little more abs, especially if you want to brunch later, there will be a little more abs in this. Good morning. Good to see you guys hopping on. Good to see you guys. You guys are also my first class I'm using music for. So you get to be my testers for my new DJ skills. So I'm going to start off our tunes. And then we'll meet on our mats. Let's meet in child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. And depending on how your body feels, sometimes you want to have the knees together if you feel any tightness in the low back. If you can, have the knees apart. And it's our first child's pose, so you don't have to have your arms extended out long. You can have the forearms down, bring your forehead down onto the mat. And allow these first few moments just to check in with yourself. Start to scan your body from the crown of the head into the tips of the toes. And just acknowledge where your body is at this morning. You may feel a little tired. You may feel energized. You guys are my second class. I'm a little energized. You may feel some tightness or some soreness in the body. And we don't label these things. We just acknowledge where the body is at, where the mind is at. And we start to draw closer to the inhales and exhales, allowing that breath to start at the low belly and travel all the way up into the heart. And then on the exhale, we gently release it down. Inhaling again from the low belly, allow that air to travel all the way up into your heart. And exhale, release it down. One more time, inhale through the low belly. See if you can allow the air to go a little higher than the heart, filling up to your collarbones. And exhale, release it down. Crawl your fingertips out in front of you. Get nice and long in your spine here. And walk the hands over towards your left hand side. Find a little child's pose twist this morning. As you twist to the left, you find that stretch to the right side of our body. And that's the great thing about our body. One side coordinates to the other. Walk the hands over now to the right hand side. Find that twist to the right, stretching through the left. Keep that left hip moving back and down. Walk your hands back to center, child's pose. Bring your hands flat onto the mat. Keep your forearms lifted, taking your forehead down as close as you can towards the mat. And your next inhale, gently pick up those hips. Tabletop position, shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. On the inhale, we'll open up the chest. We're arching the upper back, gazing up towards the ceiling. On the exhale, we scoop the navel, roll those shoulders forward. Inhale, opening up for cow. Exhaling for cat. Moving back and forth with your cat and cow. And as you move through this, start to scan the body again. Notice how the spine fills, the hips, the shoulders, the wrist. And acknowledge where your body is at. Allow yourself to find a neutral spine, tabletop position. Extend your left toes back onto the mat. And we're just going to move back and forth here. You may play with bending and straightening out that left knee a few times. We're just waking up the hamstrings, the hip flexors. And the next time you pick up that left knee, keep it there, firm into your right hip. And on your inhale, start to elevate your left toes straight back behind you. And look back there. Make sure your toes are pointing down towards your mat. Start to scoop in the low belly. Take an inhale. On the exhale, we're crunching it in, knee to nose. Inhale it up and back. Exhale it over to that left elbow. Inhale it up and back. Exhale, twist, find that right elbow. Inhale it up and back. We're just holding here now. Really firming into that right hip, draw the low belly in. Then release the knee down. Inhale, extend the right toes back onto your mat, and then play with bending and straightening the knee, moving back and forth, pulsing there. You may notice a difference between each side of your body. One might be a little tighter, one might be a little more open, and that's okay. That's how we do yoga. We're balancing it out. The next time you have that right knee up, keep it there. And on the inhale, we'll start to take the toes straight up and back. And look back at your toes. Keep your toes pointing down towards the mat. That keeps our hips even. And then we firm into that left hip to keep our balance. We'll take a deep breath in. On the exhale, crunch it in, knee to nose. Inhale it up and back. Exhale it to that right elbow. Inhale it up and back. Exhale over to that left elbow. Find that twist. Inhale it up and back, hold. That's all you're doing. And then release the knee down. Take a couple rounds of cat and cow. Great job, guys. So we're just slowly waking up those hips. Allow yourself to find a neutral spine. Walk your hands just a little out in front of you. Spreading your fingers evenly, planting down to the palms of the hands, and start to think about your upper arms. So your biceps, that's the inner arm, you roll those forward. Your triceps, the outer arm, roll those back. And now that you've connected to the arms, you've connected to the hands, we'll take the toes back onto the mat. Left toes, then right toes, knees up. Guess what? It's plank pose. Shoulders over wrists, extending back to the heels of the feet. Draw the low belly in. Take an inhale. On the exhale, we'll go up and back. Downward facing dog. It's our first downward dog this morning, so you can bend each knee, pedaling out your feet, taking your hips side to side. And notice how this feels for you. Having this weight on the hands. Not very often in life are you going to be on your hands as much as you are in these yoga classes. So just be mindful of your hands. Keep that connection there. Rooting down through your thumb and first finger. Keeping that rotation in your upper arms. And we'll start to find some stillness in the legs, taking the hips up and back. Thighs extending back, chest closer to the thighs. Take an inhale. On the exhale, lower your hips back down, our good friend plank pose. You can have the knees down for plank if you need it. Then send it up and back, downward facing dog. One last time, exhale those hips down into plank pose, hold. This time come down into your forearms, forearm plank. Pause here, I know you want to go down, keep it lifted. Now take the knees down, toes back, Sphinx pose. So this is just an alternative to the vinyasa. If you really want to take a vinyasa this morning, you can. But I would recommend trying this because it's going to play into something we have later on. So holding here in Sphinx pose, drawing the chest in between the arms, press all the way out into your pinky toes. Find a little lift in your low belly here. And on the exhale, we'll release it down. Plant your hands down on your mat, press yourselves up and back. Downward facing dog. Let's take that one more time. Take an inhale. On the exhale, we lower the hips down into plank pose. Coming down onto the forearms, forearm plank, pause, keep that lift. Knees down, toes back. Draw the chest in between the arms. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down, press yourself up and back. Downward facing dog. Great job, guys. Take a cleansing breath here. Big inhale through your nose. Exhale it out your mouth. Let it go. Your next inhale takes the right leg up and back, three-legged dog. And take a look back at your toes. Keep your toes moving down towards the mat. That means your hips are even when you do that. Then open up your right knee to the side. Find some hip circles here. Notice that balance on the left side of your body, still rooting down to the hands. Inhale takes the leg up and back. Now option to stay right here if you'd like. You'll exhale knee to nose, we'll crunch it in, just like we did in tabletop. We'll inhale that leg up and back. We'll exhale it over to that right elbow. We inhale it up and back. We exhale over to that left elbow. Find that twist. Inhale it up and back. Exhale, bend the knee, step the right foot to the top of the mat. Lower your left knee down, sweep up your arms, low lunge, breathe. Releasing our tailbone down, extending up through our fingertips. Taking the arms a little further back towards your ears. Keep guiding your hips forward. Release your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, shoot your knuckles down towards the mat, open up through your chest. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to release the hands down. Frame that right foot. Left hand down, right fingertips up, twist. Now you have the option here. You can keep the knee down or you'll start to elevate your left knee as well. Finding like a plank position on that left side of your body, firming into your right hip. On the exhale, release your hand down. Step back into plank pose. Lower down into your forearms, forearm plank. Then knees down, toes back. Sphinx pose, breathe here. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down on your mat, press yourselves up and back. Downward facing dog, take a moment. Left side knows what's coming, so your brain's ready. So we'll inhale that left leg up and back. Look back at your toes, keep your toes pointing down towards the mat. Now open up your left hip, circle it out a bit. Take the leg straight back behind you. This is optional, but if you'd like, you'll need a nose, you'll crunch it in. We'll inhale it up and back. Take it over to that left elbow. Inhale it up and back. Take it to that right elbow. Inhale it up and back, hold. Exhale, bend the knees, step the foot to the top. Lower the right knee down, sweep up your arms, low lunge, breathe. Soft and smooth breathing. Bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, shoot your knuckles down, open up through the chest. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, release the hands down. Right hand down, left fingertips up. Find that twist in the upper body. Then tuck your toes, maybe hover that right knee up and back. Breathe. Great job, guys. On the exhale, release your hand down. Step back into our good friend plank pose. Lower down onto your forearms. Then knees down, toes back. Draw the chest in between the arms. Sphinx pose. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down to your ribs. Press yourselves up and back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Let it go. Walk your feet out as wide as your mat. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Find a wide leg forward fold. So hang loose a little bit. Grab opposite elbows, sway side to side. Release your fingertips down towards your toes, hands on your hips. Slight bend in the knees. Come all the way up to standing. Let's meet at the top of our mat. Grounding down through our feet. On your inhale, we'll take the arms up above us. On the exhale, we'll hinge from the hips. We'll forward fold it down. On the inhale, we'll lengthen the spine halfway. Exhale, plants the hands down. Step back into plank pose. Lower down onto your forearms. Forearm plank. Pause for a moment. Keep that lift. Then knees down, toes back. Draw the chest in between the arms. Our good friend Sphinx pose. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down. Press yourself up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here in down dog. Soft and smooth breathing. Come high up into the heels of your feet. Bend your knees. Look up towards your hands. Either walk or jump to the top of the mat. We'll inhale to lengthen the spine halfway. We exhale to forward fold. We ground down through our feet. Inhale takes the arms up above us. Palms press. Hands to our heart center. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Forward fold it down. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands down. Step back into your plank pose. Hold. Come down onto those forearms. Pause for a breath. Then knees down, toes back. Sphinx pose. Draw the chest in between the arms. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down on your mat. Press yourselves up and back. Downward dog. So this is just a modified sun salute A. Just changing up our vinyasa today. One last time. When you're ready, make your way to the top of the mat. Walk or jump. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale it down. Ground down to your feet. Inhale takes the arms up above you. Palms press. Hands to our heart center. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Forward, fold it down. Inhale to lengthen the spine halfway. Exhale, plant the hands down. Step back for your plank pose. Lower down to the forearms. And you know what's coming. Knees down, toes back. Sphinx pose. Draw the chest in between the arms. Inhale. Exhale it down. Hands down on your mat. This time press yourselves back into a child's pose like we started. Big toes together, knees apart. Extend your arms out in front of you. Pause here. And just allow yourself a moment to reconnect back to your breath. Notice if this child's pose is a little easier than it was before. Maybe the hips are getting further back. Maybe the upper back feels a little more open. We'll crawl the hands over towards the left side, find our child's pose twist. Now crawl the hands over towards the right side, child's pose twist. Walk your hands back to center. Your next inhale, your hips pick up. Tabletop position. Take a couple rounds of cat and cow. Allow yourself to find your neutral spine. Walk your hands just a little out in front of you. Extend your toes back onto the mat. Plank pose. Pause here for a breath. Then send it up and back for downward facing dog. Take a few inhales and exhales here in your down dog. Soft and smooth breathing. Your next inhale takes that right leg up and back, three-legged dog. We're just holding. Keep firming into your left hip. Find that balance on one leg. Now again, this is optional, but if you'd like it, knee to nose, crunch it in. Inhale it up and back. Exhale over to that right elbow. Inhale it up and back. Exhale over to that left elbow. Inhale it up and back. Exhale, bend the knees, step that right foot to the top. Walk your right foot a little more to the right. Give your legs some space. Ground down through your feet. Come all the way up. Crescent pose. Breathe here. There's a nice deep bend in your front knee as you release the tailbone down. You're extending up through your fingertips. You're opening up through the chest. Softening the front ribs. We'll release our hands behind our back. Interlace our fingers. Open up through the chest again. Breathe. Inhale the arms back up. Exhale to release the hands down. Find your twist. Left hand down, right fingertips up. Firm into your right hip. Extend back to that left leg. Exhale, release your hand down. Step back into plank pose, lowering down to your forearms. Forearm plank. Knees down, toes back. Sphinx pose. Inhale. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down. Press yourselves up and back. Downward facing dog. One more time on the left. Inhale, lift that left leg up and back. Option to stay right here. You may exhale, knee to nose. Inhale it up and back. Exhale to that left elbow. Inhale it up and back. Exhale to that right elbow. Inhale it up and back. Exhale, bend the knee, step the foot forward. Walk the foot a little more to the left. Ground down through your feet. Come all the way up. Crescent pose. Breathe. Releasing the tailbone down, extend up to the fingertips. Now bring the hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, shoot your knuckles down, open up to the chest. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, release the hands down, twist. Right hand down, left fingertips up. Breathe again. Exhale to release your hand down. Step back into your plank pose, lowering down onto your forearms. Then knees down, toes back. Draw the chest in between the arms, Sphinx. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down, press yourself up and back. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in and deep breath out. Great job, guys. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Hang loose at the back of the mat. Grab opposite elbows, sway side to side. Release your fingertips down towards your toes. Have a slight bend in your knees. Hands on your hips. Make your way all the way up to standing. Walk your feet into touch. And I'm mirroring you guys, so I gotta remember my left and my right now. So ground down to the right foot, firm into your right hip. Take your left foot to the ankle, calf, or maybe guide it up into your thigh, finding tree pose. Hands meet at our heart center. Take your gaze to anything in your house not moving. And maybe you grow your branches up towards the ceiling. It's not how high you get that leg, it's more the rooting sensation in the right. And then we'll release, we'll shake it out. Grounding down now through the left. Firm into that left hip. I'm doing good with my opposites right now. Allow your foot to go to the ankle, the calf, or maybe up into the thigh. Allow your hands to come to heart center. Root down. This is where my root down, rise up comes in. Rooting down here to maybe grow your branches, rising all the way up. Rooting down within yourself to rise to the occasion. Breathe. Exhale to release. Shake it out a little bit. So you guys are standing at the top or the back of your mat. Turn to the side and step your right foot out wide. Take your arms out, wrist to wrist. And again, I'm mirroring you guys, so bear with my left and my rights. I did this earlier today, so should be pretty good. So we'll turn our right toes in slightly, and from the hip socket, we'll rotate that left foot forward. Then we'll bend into that left knee, finding warrior two. Find that extension from wrist to wrist. Have that nice deep bend in your front knee. Allow it to track with your second toe. Turn your palm up towards the ceiling. Reverse your warrior. Take that arm up and back. Exhale back into warrior two. Here for just a breath. Lengthen forward, forearm to your thigh. Right arm alongside your ear. Side angle pose. Pause. Find that rotation here. Bottom ribs forward, top ribs back. Really open up your chest. Ground down through your feet. Right arm pulls you back up. Straighten out that left knee. Left palm up towards the sky. Reverse your triangle. Take your arms up and back. Now I like to wrap my arm around my back. That's just a little reminder to protect my low back. Exhale, arms out wide. Parallel your feet with your mat. Interlace your fingers behind your back. If it's hard to do this, you can always use a towel or a strap. Inhale, open up through the chest. On the exhale, we lengthen forward. Wide leg forward fold. Let your head hang loose. See if you can keep the hands interlaced. Now you have to think about your feet here. Ground down evenly through your feet. Roll your inner thighs back. Keep your hips over your heels. That's where you find that place of balance. Not leaning too far forward or too far back. Grounding down through your feet. Next inhale, arms pull us back up. Shake it out a little bit. Take the arms out wide. Left toes in slightly. Have to remember my left and my right. Turn the right toes to the front. Bend into that right knee. Warrior two. Hold. Taking your gaze towards your top fingertips. Turn your palm up towards the ceiling. Reverse your warrior. Take the arm up and back. Find that lengthening in the side body. Exhale back into warrior two. Lengthen a little forward over your knee. Forearm to the thigh. Left arm alongside your ear. Find your side angle pose. Ground down through your feet. Take you back up, warrior two. Straighten out your right knee, right palm towards the sky. Reverse your triangle. Again, find that stretch to the side body. Really ground down through your feet here. Keep your balance. Come back with the arms out, wrist to wrist. Parallel your feet. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Inhale, open up the head, neck, and chest. Exhale, hinge from your hips, wide leg forward fold. Let your head hang loose. Notice which way you've interlaced your fingers. More than likely, right hand's over left. Switch it if you can, left hand over right. Even balancing out our body here, remembering which way we cross our hands. Ground down through your feet. Next inhale, arms pull us up to standing. Shake it out a little bit. Great job, guys. Step your foot to the top of the mat. Take a moment here, Tadasana Mountain Pose. Let's bring our hands to heart center. And even here, we're rooting down, allowing that energy to rise up through the crown of the head. Breathe. Bend your knees, sit your hips nice and low, our good friend chair pose. Deep breath in, sweep up those arms, hold. Take a look down at your toes. If you can't see your toes, shift your hips a little further back. And find this lift in the arms from the back ribs. Inhale up to standing, palms press, hands to our heart center. Sit back down nice and low, chair pose. Sweep both those arms, deep breath in. Exhale, we forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen the spine halfway. Exhale, plant the hands down, step back to plank pose. Lowering down to our forearms, forearm plank. Knees down, toes back, Sphinx pose. Draw the chest in between the arms. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down on your mat, press yourself up and back, down dog. Spreading your fingers evenly, planting down to that thumb and first finger, sending that energy up and back into your hips. Now we're skipping the abs this time. Unless you're going to brunch later, if you're gonna make a home brunch or out on a patio somewhere, you can take the abs, but we're just taking that right foot up and back. And gaze back towards your toes, keep your toes
moving down towards the mat. Keep your right hip even with the left. And we're just holding. Take some abdominals to keep that leg lifted too. On the exhale, we'll bend the knee. We'll step that right foot to the top. Ground down to the outer edge of your left heel. Windmill your arms up, warrior two. So it's everything that we just took through the side of the mat. Now we're taking it with a flow. So moving a little faster. Right palm up, reverse your warrior. Exhale, right into side angle, forearm to your thigh, left arm alongside your ear. Come back up, straighten out your leg, reverse your triangle. Take your right arm up and back, lengthen. Exhale to windmill the hands down, bending into your knee. Pivot onto your toes. Left hand down, right fingertips up, twist. Hold. Great job, guys. Exhale to release your hand down. Step back into plank. You can skip this and go to down dog. The rest of us are coming down to forearms. Then knees down, toes back. Sphinx pose, inhale. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down, press yourselves up and back. Down dog. Take a moment here. And then we'll take the left leg up and back. Pause. Hold. Look at those toes, gaze back. On the exhale, we'll bend the knee, step the foot to the top. Ground down to the outer edge of your back heel. Windmill your arms up. Warrior two. Turn your palm up towards the ceiling. Reverse your warrior. Exhale, right into side angle, forearm to the thigh. Right arm alongside your ear, open up through the chest. Then come right back up, straightening out the left knee. Left palm up towards the sky. Reverse your triangle, lengthen. Exhale, bend back as if you're going through warrior two. Windmill those hands down, pivot onto your right toes. Twist, right hand down, left fingertips up. Great job, guys. Exhale to release your hand down, step back into plank. Lower down onto your forearm plank. Knees down, toes back. Sphinx, inhale. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down. This time we're pressing back our good friend child's pose, just like we started. Big toes together, knees apart. Breathe. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Crawl those hands over to the left side. Find your twist, just like you did before. Notice if the right side body's a little more open. Walk the hands over to the right. Stretch to the left side of your body. Walk the hands back to center. Child's pose, breathe. Come high up onto your fingertips here, releasing your forehead down towards the mat. Well, sometimes your forehead has some trouble getting down there. You can always put a blanket or a towel underneath the forehead too. Walk your hands back towards your knees and find standing on your knees. As you stand on your knees, you want your hips right over your knees. Interlace your fingers behind your back. You can have your feet flat on the mat. You can have your toes tucked if that gives you a little more stability. On the inhale, we'll open up the head, neck, and chest. Great job, guys. Then bend the elbows, come back to neutral. Interlace the other hand on top. Inhale the head, neck, and chest. It's just a modified cobra, or not modified cobra, modified camel. Started with a C, I was pretty close. And then bend the elbows. Shake out the arms a little bit. Doing a great job, guys. Allow your hands to lower down into your mat. Find tabletop. Take a couple rounds of cat and cow. So now you have all this opening in the upper back. Notice if your cat and cow feels a little different than it did before. Then allow yourself to come to that neutral spine tabletop position. Walk your hands just a little out in front of you. Extend the toes back onto the mat. Plank pose. Hold. Send those hips up and back. Downward dog. And we're holding downward dog for just a few inhales and exhales, so you're spreading your fingers evenly. You're planting down to the palms. You're sending that energy up and back into your hips. Extend your thighs back just a little further. Your heels of your feet start to lower down. Sometimes they get there, sometimes they don't. And then we draw the chest towards the thighs. And we'll breathe. When you're ready, look up towards your hands. Either walk or jump to the top of the mat. On the inhale, we'll lengthen our spines halfway. On the exhale, be forward fold. Bend your knees so deeply your stomach can rest on your thighs. That's a pretty deep bend, right? And now that you've kept your knees where they're at, you're just gonna lift up your torso and find your chair pose. Hold. Inhale up to standing, palms press, hands to our heart center. Sit back down nice and low, our good friend chair pose. See if you can get just as low as you did before. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, plant those hands down, plank pose. You know where we're going, forearm plank. Knees down, toes back. Draw the chest in between the arms. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down on your mat, press yourselves up and back. Down dog. Without taking your right leg up and back, I know you got it in you. Draw your right knee in towards your nose, crunch it in. Shift those hips forward, step the right foot to the top. Now walk this right foot a little more to the right. Ground down to the outer edge of your back foot, keeping your hips neutral. Come all the way up, warrior one. Breathe. So we try to guide our hips forward. Your back foot's down there, right? It's hard to get the hips forward. You guide them. Draw the right hip forward, left hip slightly back, or right hip back, left hip slightly forward. And then you can actually square your rib cage so you square your rib cage forward. That's what really moves forward. Release the hands behind the back. Keep that nice deep bend in the front knee. Inhale opens up our chest. You've been here all day. Exhale, start to lengthen forward. Now option, you may just get halfway. Some of you may release the crown of the head closer towards the mat. Humble warrior, taking the arms up above you. Holding. So humble warrior, I love this pose because it's a lot of strength and stability in the bottom half of your body. There's this opening in the heart, this opening through the upper body, but then you're humbling yourself. You're finding a forward fold. So there's where the challenge begins. And seeing if you can hold it, not just try to jump out of it, firming that right hip up and back. Now we'll come out, inhale up. Great job, guys. Take the arms up above you. Exhale, release the hands down, frame your foot. Pivot onto your left toes, left hand down, right fingertips up, find your twist. Now option, you can stay here in this twist, or you can find side plank, stepping your right foot back to meet the left, and then take your right arm up above you. You can always modify, taking a knee down, whatever side plank works best for you. We'll all meet in plank pose. We'll lower down onto those forearms. Knees down, toes back. Sphinx, inhale. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down, press yourselves up and back. Downward facing dog. So as you hear the music slowing down, if you ever want to know when your yoga class is getting close to being done, pay attention to your teacher's music. It'll guide you. You'll start to know, okay, music's slowing down, I'm almost there. Draw that left knee in towards your nose, crunch it in. Shift your hips forward, step to the top. Walk that left foot a little more to the left. Ground down through your back foot. Keep your hips as neutral as you can as you come all the way up. Warrior one. Left hip back, right hip a little forward. Release the hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Shoot your knuckles down, open, inhale. Exhale, humble warrior, lengthen forward. Really firm into this left hip, keep your balance. Taking your head down towards the mat, opening up through the upper back. Humbling yourself here. Grounding down through your feet. Next, inhale, arms pull us back up, finding warrior one. Exhale to release down. Find your twist here, either right hand down, left fingertips up, or you go to a side plank. Twisting to the side, left arm up above you, breathe, find a lift in the side body. Exhale into plank pose, pause. We're not coming down into the forearms. We're holding our good friend plank. We're finding that lift in our low belly, extending back to the heels of the feet. And we're breathing. You're like, why are we still holding this? This is my second class. This is the second time I've held this plank like this. I feel you. Now lower all the way down, guys. Great job. You can bring your hands underneath your forehead. Move your hips side to side. Give yourself a little love. Now, I can't see you, so it's Yogi's choice, it's Yogi's honor. You can either stay there and rest, listen to your body. It's early. But if you'd like, forehead down onto the mat, interlace your fingers behind your back like you've been doing all of class. And on the inhale, we'll lift the head, neck, and chest. And we'll take our legs up and back, locust pose, balancing on our frontal hip points. And then we'll exhale it down. Shimmy those hips side to side. One last locust pose. Interlace the fingers, other hand on top. Inhale lifts that head, neck, and chest. Balance on your frontal hip points. Extend back through the hands as if you could punch the wall behind you. Exhale it down. Plant your hands down. Press yourselves back. Child's pose. Big toes together, knees apart. Extend your arms out. Breathe. From child's pose, come up onto your forearms. So it's like a forearm tabletop here. And we'll take a couple rounds of cat and cow. And when you take cat and cow on your forearms, you really feel it in your upper back. So you'll inhale, open up that chest. On the exhale, scoop the navel, roll those shoulders forward. Inhale to open. Exhale to scoop. Take just a couple more rounds. Notice how the upper back is feeling. And allow yourself to come to neutral. Interlace your fingers. Have your shoulders right over your elbows, so your shoulder distance apart. Have a little space in between your fingers. If you have like a boiled egg in between the hands, you don't want to crush your egg there. Start to tuck your toes. Pick up your hips. Our good friend dolphin. So that's where all that opening in the upper back comes from. You have to have some opening there in dolphin. It's like your down dog, except you're on your forearms. Now you may walk your feet in, taking your hips a little more over the heels. If you have tight hips, have a slight bend in your knees, no shame. You can have the feet out wide. Listen to your body. Your hips might be screaming here, it depends on your body. And then knees down, toes back, child's pose. And just take that feedback from your body. Sometimes people's body love dolphin pose. It took my body a long time to like dolphin pose. So if it's not your favorite pose, I completely understand. When you're ready, gently start to pick up those hips. We're coming into dolphin one last time. We'll interlace those fingers. Tuck your toes, pick up the hips, and find your dolphin. And you might start to experiment taking one leg up, then taking those toes down, taking the opposite leg up, taking those toes down. The great thing about when you do a big heart opener and you do a big opening in your back, you get to come into a child's pose, counterbalancing your body. Breathe. Great job, guys. Take a few breaths here in child's pose. I'm gonna turn off our music because it's gonna repeat itself and get extremely loud. And then crawl your hands back towards your hips. Sweep those legs out in front of you. Shake out your legs a little bit. Bring the heels of the feet together, knees apart. Butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana, sometimes called in yoga. Inhale to open up the chest. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Start to take your head down towards your toes. Doesn't always get there, and that's okay. Go as far as feels good for your body. Inhale yourself back up. Start to scoot the heels of the feet a little more forward. So you're still in your butterfly pose. You just move the hips forward, or the feet forward, excuse me. Grab a hold of your feet or your ankles, and then find that lengthening action forward again. Now what this does, it takes the stretch from the inner leg now into the outer hips. So you might feel it a little more in the outer hips, which helped you balance, which may be giving you some feedback from your dolphin pose. And then you breathe. Inhale back up to seated. Hands outside your knees. Bring your feet on your mat. Scoot your hips forward so you have room to roll back, and they'll roll down onto our backs. Walk your knees in till your knees are over your ankles. And let's windshield wiper those knees side to side. Allow the legs to come to neutral. Cross your right ankle over your left knee. Thread the needle. Reach behind your left thigh. Move the legs in towards you. And this also gives you a stretch now in the outer hip down into your glute, your piriformis. If you ever have like low back pain or sciatica, this is a great pose to help stretch out that area. Some of you may experiment with taking the left leg up towards the ceiling. Again, it's an option. And then we'll bend and we'll switch sides. Left ankle now over that right knee. Reach behind the right thigh. Move the legs in towards you. Get that little stretch now on the left. Option to take the right leg up towards the ceiling. Breathe. Then bend into your knee. Release both feet down. Windshield wiper those knees side to side. Allow the legs to come to neutral. Walk your feet in, knees over your ankles. Ground down through your feet. On your inhale, gently pick up your hips. Tuck and roll your shoulders underneath you. And just like you did for Humble Warrior, maybe you interlace the fingers underneath the back. If that's hard to do, you can grab the opposite edges of your mat. And we're just holding bridge pose. We're only taking one here. And we're really grounding down to the heels of the feet. You imagine you could take the heels of the feet all the way up to the crown of the head. You're elongating the spine, opening up through the chest. The chest is getting closer to the chin, not the chin closer to the chest, but the opening through the chest brings it closer to the chin. And then on the exhale, we release the hips down. We windshield wiper those knees side to side. Hug your knees then towards you. Happy baby pose, heels of the feet up towards the sky. Grab the outside edges of your feet, release those thighs down. You might rock back and forth, side to side here as well. Hug the knees back in towards you. Take the arms out to the side and twist. Drop the knees. It's yogi's choice, left or right. I always like to let this last twist be your choice because the great thing is you'll do it on the opposite side regardless of which side you choose. And then take it to whatever side you didn't do and twist. And then bring it back to center. Hug those knees in towards you. Forehead up towards your knees. Squeeze tight like a ball. Give yourself so much love and gratitude. One, for taking this class when it's not your teacher. And also for waking up and doing this class from home. It takes a lot sometimes to get up. And on the exhale, release the arms and legs. Find your final resting pose or Shavasana. And I invite you to stay here in Shavasana for as long as you need. Not allowing the muscles around the eyes to relax. There's nothing left to see. Muscles around the mouth to relax. There's nothing left to say. Truly give your permission to relax. Bring one hand over your heart, the other hand over your heart. Staying in this Shavasana if you'd like. If you are ready to come out, ending class with the words, Namaste. Thank you, lovely yogis, for joining me this Saturday morning. So appreciate you guys. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to comment on the video. And I always look at the comments, so I'll reply. And you guys have a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. It's nice and sunny. Go out there, enjoy the sun, and enjoy your weekend. Bye, guys.